Fat, 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 fat. We're the Fat Peeps.
Hey, peeps.
Hello?
What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Phat Peeps podcast. This is episode number 45. I am, of course, your host, like I am every week, Joey, and I am one of the Phat Peeps. Here with
hi.
the other Phat Peeps, we got cameraman John,
Hello, it is I. That name you just said.
Garrick,
Oh, hola! ¿Cómo estás?
and PJ.
Hello.
And of course, this is a comedy / nerd culture podcast where we get together to talk about some topics that interest us and also crack bad jokes while doing it.
So bad.
I was about to say comedy is in the eyes of the beholder type of
Yeah.
situation.
We try.
We try. We don't always succeed, but we try.
Allegedly.
And we haven't been around for a while. We took a
Hi.
break for a while, and then we had an episode last week that's now lost to the ages.
It
A
died.
lost episode. Will anyone ever be able to listen to it?
No,
Tune
it's
in.
been-
Really?
It's been
Oh, okay,
completely
okay, never mind.
deleted.
Highly doubt it.
Yep.
Which is all right. We're going to touch upon some of the topics in that podcast very briefly.
Yeah.
This week.
No. I'm gonna word for word say what I just said last week.
But
Oh,
we
yeah,
have
you
new
gotta
topics.
memorize.
I memorized all of it.
But we have new topics.
Oh shoot.
You didn't
Oh,
think about
awkward.
that, did
Well,
you?
what are they?
Don't worry about it.
I'm just thinking about that where it's like you're out of sync from everybody else because we're not having the same conversation
Yes.
anymore.
Yeah.
I have my notes right here.
So it's like we're sitting there talking and John just like says something out of nowhere that has like doesn't pertain to the context at all.
Hello?
Like John.
Anyway, we always-
that's- has nothing to do with it. Okay.
We always like to start our podcast with the icebreaker question of the day,
Oh, wow.
which usually doesn't really have anything to do with media or nerd culture or anything, but it does this week for some reason. I don't know who put this one,
Garrick.
but I'm gonna let it fly.
Oh, I even look at it. Let me see. What is it? Actually, you just read it to me.
What is a
Uh-huh.
comic book franchise,
Uh-huh.
film or TV, like adaptation, that was great before the MCU and DCEU became mainstream?
Okay, so
What?
let me beg
You
this
gotta-
question. Does it have to be something that's not from either of those universes? Or can it be stuff that was from those universes but before they became universes?
Sure. I think is MCU is what it is now. EU is what it is now. So like pretty much before, for example, before the Incredible Hulk, I
Uh-huh.
would say. So you could say anything before that, I
What is
believe.
a comic book franchise? Let me see that. Created.
So like the Tobey Maguire Spider-Man movies.
Okay. Yeah,
Okay.
That's my answer. Thanks.
Hey!
Thanks, Joey.
No, that's
Oh, dang it.
Those are hit or miss across
um,
the like 2 is really good, 1 is all right, 3 is kind of terrible.
Yeah, that usually happens. I feel like I never really jumped on the comic book movie, film, TV franchises until the MCU.
You know what's a good Marvel show that was before MCU? Blade.
Fantastic. Oh, Blade's good. Yeah. Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
I think that'll be my answer.
Okay.
I think forget that this was a comic book movie.
Oh yeah, Blade. Huh.
You got to remember your roots. And also Wesley Snipes. So that's my answer.
Okay, if you're going for that route, like the not as like kind of yeah, that stuff. I'm gonna choose a Hellboy.
Yes.
Oh,
Oh,
that
yeah.
would have been my second
Guillermo del
answer.
Toro.
Yeah.
Those movies.
Not, we're not including The most recent one though, are we?
No. Just Guillermo
Okay.
del Toro.
Yes.
English hard or Spanish.
And then what's his name as Hellboy too? Ron Perlman. It's
Ron
not the
Perlman
same.
is the perfect
Perlman.
Hellboy. Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. How
Too
about you?
bad they didn't make the third one. There was
Yeah.
plans for it, but that fell through.
Yeah, Ron really wanted to.
Yeah.
I heard.
Mm-hmm.
Sad.
How do you guys feel about the Watchmen movie?
I was about to ask about that one because that was definitely up there
Yeah.
on that
It
list
was
for me.
legit, like it's pulled straight from the graphic novel, like
Other
shot by
than
shot, pretty much.
the
Oh, that's cool.
octopus penis thing at the end.
Octopus.
Yeah.
So it's a screaming squid.
Yeah,
I
giant
think it was a
squid.
celestial squid, not a
Yes.
penis squid.
I don't know.
An eldritch.
I don't know what movie
squid.
you watched.
I know.
Oh no, the comic book. Unless they were showing me an off comic book in high school, but
Are you talking about Dr. Manhattan's floppy bits?
Oh yeah, that too. Maybe I confused the two of them.
Yeah, this definitely was the squid definitely did not have a penis.
I thought that there was some sort of genitalia based monster at the end, but I don't know.
No, it's
Well, I
that's
mean- It's a squid.
we know what kind of stuff PJ watches in his
Ooh,
free
Only,
time.
only on
Whoa.
Tuesdays. Oh,
Okay,
look at
that's
look
fair.
at it's Tuesday.
Oh, nice.
No, so I was gonna bring up Watchmen, so I'm glad you brought that up. Another one that could be mentioned is Kick-Ass.
Kick-Ass,
At least the
yeah.
first
Oh,
one.
yeah.
I don't know if we want to talk
Mhm.
about the second one, but
I don't think I've ever seen the second
I
one.
I
don't
haven't
remember the
either. But
second one.
I didn't hear too much good stuff about it. The other one I was
Yeah.
gonna say is Scott Pilgrim
Yeah,
because that
that's
was
a good one.
fantastic.
PJ, you have to choose. You can't just like willy nilly throw it.
Well, PJ gets a list, so I'm going to list some stuff.
I know.
Well-
See, now you're breaking all the rules.
Well, what was the actual prompt here? I thought the prompt was like,
What?
is...
Just what is your like? Just one. Just one. Just one.
What's your one?
What's my one?
I want to throw out Sin City. Sin City was a pretty good one too, guys.
Was it though? Was it really?
I didn't
Sin
watch
City was
it.
fantastic.
I gotta watch it again. It's been too long.
I didn't watch it. I kind of want to just
Like,
because I heard
visually.
a lot of good things about it.
Yeah, visually, it's like just out of this world. It just felt like you're watching a moving graphic novel.
That's kinda
I mean,
Wow.
same thing with 300 and
Oh yeah,
the other one you said,
300.
Watchmen.
Oh, that's true.
The one that pops out to me the most and that was the most nostalgic to me was the Batman Warner Brother cartoons on Saturday mornings. Like
Okay.
that was
Okay.
before that was when Batman was
Batman
still big,
Tass.
but it wasn't like Batman is on everyone's t-shirt and or hat or belts. It was just like pre that stage and everyone was like, "Oh, Batman's so cool cuz she's on Saturday morning at WB," but like it wasn't like every dad is now wearing one.
I don't know, man. There was Batman mania in like the late '80s from that.
80s.
Oh, there's
Tim
always
Burton
been
movie.
Batman. There's always been Batman mania, but I just feel like now it's to the point where like you could literally walk anywhere and there's a Batman thing on someone somewhere in a crowd of people. Maybe not so
Oh.
much right now, but
Yeah, I was like, there are no crowds.
2 years ago is what I mean. And I mean, I guess that probably happened when the movies come out, but I'm talking about like just on a general, like no Batman stuff has come out in a long time and people are still like toting it around. But like,
You know how many people dressed up as Batman in my elementary school back in the day?
Wow.
There was like at least 40 Batmans.
okay, so maybe
Whoa.
then that's a poor example. So if not, then Kick-Ass is my backup answer.
Oh wow.
But I feel
Very
like
nice.
Spider-Man was another example of that because I feel like the Spider-Man series before that, even Spider-Man
Tobey
was big.
Maguire.
Because the Spider-Man 90s shows as well could be argued as a big series.
Yeah. I mean, that's why Sony's been, trying to keep that IP for so long.
Yeah.
'Cause it
that's-
sells.
It's one of their
True.
Makes
biggest
the
ones.
big bucks.
Mm-hmm. So,
What about property going the other direction? Like things that started as movies and then have comic books now.
Star Wars.
I was gonna
guess
say
Star
Star
Wars.
Wars. The Star Wars
Yeah.
graphic novels are actually like dope as hell.
Nice. What about the new ones that he's released? The
I haven't checked
Republic
any
or
of the new
whatever,
ones
the-
out, like the High Republic
The
one
High
or
Republic, yeah.
whatever. Oh no, you know what? This is like just like a cutout, like because people like to trash on things.
Yeah.
You know how that is. So they'll just like pick something out, like, you know, one page and be like, oh, look how stupid this is. But there is a bit in that book that shows a like fundamental misunderstanding of how lightsabers work, where the person is falling and they use it like a sword and jab it into like a tree, and it slows their momentum and they hang from it.
That's awesome.
Nice.
And it's like,
funny.
that's not
Yeah.
how lightsabers work.
Well, maybe they turned down the stabby power.
Yeah, they just
function.
turn down the heat.
Yeah.
Disregard that it's just
There you
like
go.
plasma and has no form.
Nice.
Yeah, I don't know any other. I'm trying to think. Oh, I guess
Yeah.
Beowulf had a comic book at one point.
Yeah. I mean, technically everything in a comic. I mean,
It did,
much
but I just
because-
can't think of one
I mean,
that was
you can
like...
find Bible comics. So.
That's
Yeah,
true.
Beowulf is also like a multi-thousand-year-old epic.
That's true.
Yeah.
Maybe
I
not
don't
multi. When is Beowulf from? I think I might be getting Beowulf mixed up with Gilgamesh.
1600s. I think.
That's right. Yeah, Beowulf is like way more recent than that because it's about like the like
2007.
tribes in England, right?
That's the movie.
I know. I mean, stupid.
Oh, awkward.
16th century. Oh no! Sorry.
Okay.
No, that's what the story is based in the 16th century. 700 to 1080 is what people are
Okay.
kind of guesstimating.
I mean, I was only off by 100 years. Oh, wait. Oh, 700? Oh, never mind. I said 1600, so that's way before what I said.
Yeah, no, it was early.
First
Right.
printed edition was in 1815.
Ah,
So-
there you go. Printed. That's what we could care about.
I mean,
That's what matters.
That's what matters. Yeah, that's when it's like written, and this is
Well-
it. This is the
well,
story.
I know, but that's the printed edition. So there was manuscripts in 975.
yeah. Oh, okay, got
So
it.
that is printed technically. Anywho,
And then before that was orally transmitted too, so it's like that's
Right.
a long story, anyways.
it was like STDs.
Hot.
What?
What?
Yeah, I mean, those are just ones off the top of my head that made sense as graphic novels.
I heard that the Airbenders, Avatar Airbender comics are pretty good too.
Oh yeah.
Never
I
read
can see
them,
that.
but I heard they're
But
good.
I feel like that's just natural because it's like an quote unquote American manga to not be controversial. It
It's
it
definitely
makes
an American anime.
sense. Yeah, it makes sense that it naturally turns into a comic and or manga. So manga.
Manga.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure there's lists of them, but I kind of, it makes me sad thinking back on those movies that were like, wow, these are cool and revolutionary, and then MCU and DCEU just like came in and were like, those don't exist anymore. There's no such thing as small superhero movies anymore, or very limited.
I mean, not just superhero movies. You have like all movies pretty much. You got the monster universe from Universal with Kong and Godzilla and all that
Oh,
stuff.
that's true.
Then we're gonna do the horror people, the horror movie universe, which kind of died, I guess, because of Tom Cruise and the Mummy,
Rip.
The Dooku
the Dooku.
Wait, that was
Dark Universe cinematic universe.
Yeah,
wait, that's
yeah.
a thing. I don't know. That's a little far fetched
Yeah.
for me. You're pushing it. You're pushing it, kid.
I mean, that's what the studios were trying.
So they're down.
I mean,
Tom
it was
Cruise is
it was
still
a
doing
thing. Marvel did a
Yeah.
good job, and then they're like, oh,
Yeah.
let's just ride that cash cow.
And then DC was like, oh, let's do what they did, but jump a bunch of hoops.
Mm-hmm. I
Well,
think they're just burning out the fan. Awkward.
I mean,
DC's
do have a
over there
couple-
just like
couple good ones.
fumbling around like they don't
Yep.
know what they're doing most of the time.
We gotta
but
catch
hey, that
up, but-
Batman movie looks good
I'm stoked.
Oh,
Whoa.
I like
with,
Batman.
Yes.
with the vampire boy.
yeah.
Ooh, whoa, can't
I
wait.
like him. He's
Edward.
good in things.
He's a really good
He
actor. Like,
is.
in other like other than I mean, I
And
haven't
not
seen
Twilight.
Yeah, I haven't seen
Yeah.
Twilight, but I'm sure it's not that great of acting.
I bet
You
he
should watch
tried.
Twilight.
He
Straight up
tried his
shitting, bro.
darndest.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
Real
mean,
talk, Twilight is worth watching just from the pure perspective of being
it?
like, A, I can say that I've seen these, and B, man, are they terrible.
okay, we might have to do a
Would-
watch party then.
Oh
Okay.
God. Okay. On that note.
All right, we're gonna move on.
Yes, please.
We're gonna briefly touch on some news topics from last week that got lost to time.
Yep.
And we're also gonna
my
briefly talk
computer.
about some new things that are kind of whatever. But starting us off here, Ubisoft announced that they are publishing a Star Wars game that is being developed by Massive.
Hot.
That's massive.
That's the studio that does The Division.
Oh wow.
It's a open world game that's going to be running on the Snowdrop engine, which is Massive's like proprietary engine that they
wow.
designed. This kind of coincides with Lucasfilm Games, the kind of new like arm that is doing like working out deals and like publishing and stuff with different publishers around the industry. Around the same time, a Indiana Jones game was announced to be made by Machine Games, developers of the Wolfenstein series. And of course that would be published by Bethesda. But for this Star Wars game, where I'm at on it is, honestly, if it was just The Division but set in the Star Wars universe, I'm 100% on board. I really like The Division, and if you could drop it in like different Star Wars cities and like locations and stuff, and give me like Star Wars loot and armor and stuff to collect, then like I'm all about it. You know what I mean?
Right. To sum up my statements from last week, cool. Probably won't get it. Interested to see what ends up happening with it. More interested to see what other game companies get some rights to Star Wars and what they'll do with it. Bada boom.
Same.
Bada boom, bada beam.
Oh, and then John and I arguing for a long time about whether
we
lightsabers
did?
should be in a game or not.
No, I didn't say anything about that.
That was Joey.
Oh, Joey. Yeah, because he doesn't want
Yeah.
everyone to be a god superhero
Yeah.
with force powers and lightsabers.
Yeah, my point was that if this game doesn't have lightsabers in it,
There's gonna be like tens of other games with lightsabers. Don't
Yeah,
worry
sure.
about it.
Yeah.
Don't worry
You're
about
gonna
it.
have whatever the sequel. Do you think that they're gonna do a sequel to Jedi Fallen Order?
they
Probably,
do
right?
really well. Yeah, I feel
I
It
mean,
did
if it's a
well.
cash cow, you got to go back and milk that teat, man.
uh-huh. It's blue milk teat.
Blue milk teat.
But there you go. That's your
That was a
your
synopsis.
Jedi sword game.
Yeah.
Wow.
I think we did that
Yeah.
very accurately and with way more information.
I wonder if this does end up being just straight up like Division, where it's like a third person shooter. Because I could see very easily how they could just translate the game mechanics from the Division right over into a Star Wars based, like universe based game. But I could also see them end up doing like, I could see this being like
A
some
Rogue
kind of
One
first
type of
person.
thing?
Yeah, or like kind of like a more Far Cry approach, like a first person stealth action open world type of game,
Ooh, I
not
can get down with stealth
necessarily
action.
Like
like a co-op, because Division is very much a co-op oriented action RPG, like Diablo, where you're just killing mobs and collecting loot and optimizing builds and stuff like that. Which I would like that for Star Wars. I think that would be a really cool, interesting Star Wars game. But I think it would also be cool if it was a straight up like, I mean, we're kind of applying like Ubisoft game plus Star Wars here, but I think it's kind of apt because it's kind of
Oh,
how
yeah.
Ubisoft does things, right?
They
just kind
have
of
their own signature on everything.
yeah, they have a
You're
formula.
like, oh, that's Ubi.
That's Ubisoft.
And I personally really like that formula of just
It's
kind of
polished.
open world sandbox stealth action military kind of gameplay, right? So if they just took that like style of world design and gameplay, but it's Star Wars, I would be all 100% on board with that too, because I love the Far Cry games. So
Hey.
Far Cry Star Wars.
I'll give it a chance.
Star Cry.
Star Cry.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, sounds
what if it
fun.
was straight up like it was like Star Wars Distant Tears or something like that?
That would be the like sub name of
Like,
it.
yeah, like they straight like
it's
obviously they
like-
can't call it Star Wars Far Cry,
Right.
but
so if
like
they have like a big old villain that you have to like
A
you know, go
teardrop
against.
far, far away.
distant Tears.
Distant tears. Yeah, I like
Get
that.
it?
Tears.
Far Cry.
Far Cry, yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
I get it.
Or
like
or long off hauler. How about that? Star Wars long off hauler. I like it. Catchy. Paparazzi?
What?
Paparazzi.
Oh no, don't. We're gonna get a DMCA. Don't do that.
Well, I
Oh,
didn't sing it
geez.
well, and I didn't
We're
say
too
who
good
it
at
was.
it.
Pokemon Snap had a trailer
Pikachu.
shown.
Pika.
It's Pokemon Snap.
Yeah.
It
It's
looks
been how
pretty.
many years?
It's
for
new
around, like,
Pokemon
20.
Snap. Yeah, oh yeah, it's been a long ass time.
About
We were young
damn
lads when it
time.
came out.
Mhm.
A lot of interesting Pokemon choices in the trailer.
Super
That's
stoked.
fun.
I will definitely be bringing this. We are going to Cayucas for my birthday-ish region, which is in the end of June, so we'll probably go in the middle of June. This comes out in April. I will be buying this.
Oh.
I will be bringing my Switch, and I will be playing it while we're there on my vacation. And I am absolutely
Oh.
stoked because I did that with the first Pokemon. And
Wait, hold
Pokemon
on.
Snap.
So it's coming out in May. You're going June. Can I borrow your Switch during May?
Sure. Well, it comes out in April, by the way. I think like the end
Oh,
of
okay.
April. I think
Perfect.
it's like April
Can I
30th.
borrow your Switch on April?
Yes.
Perfect. Because I'm gonna be
No.
taking some pictures of some Pokemon.
Hot.
Pokemon.
Pokemon. Okay.
Pokemon.
I really hope that they have some sort of like photo editor, like in all them other games. You know what I mean?
No.
Like Death Stranding and Tsushima, Ghost of
Sushi.
Tsushima.
Photomon shop.
Yeah.
How
Like,
about
so you
that?
can just add some bokeh or some like
Oh.
grayscale it or like turn up the
Tempting.
vibrance. That'd be like sick.
I'd be down. Okay, so Joey, what were you saying? Sorry, I completely cut you off.
Yeah, so I'm interested to see how deep the like puzzle mechanics go, because they were like pretty simplistic in the original game, obviously because it's kind of short in an N64 game. But I've only in the trailers and stuff, I've only seen them make reference to like the like food ball and not the like other ball that you use to do things, the like
Poison
pester ball or whatever.
Pester ball. That's it.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, I wonder how deep, or if there's going to be like more gadgets that they haven't announced, or if there's like more intricate map like interaction and
Hopefully.
manipulation that opens up secret areas and
I better be able to throw
reveals hidden
apples at
Pokemon.
Pikachu's ass. If I can't, then I'm gonna be upset.
I mean, I feel like that's given. You know.
Yeah. You know how many Pikachu asses got hit by apples in the original game? That's probably too many
I mean,
to count.
even maybe like elemental stuff, like maybe like a water gun or like a flamethrower.
A water gun?
I don't know,
Oh, you just
yeah. You just squirt
you have all
someone,
these
it's like,
cute little
"Ah."
gadgets that you pull out a giant
Yeah.
fucking flamethrower and start shooting it at random Pokemon.
Yeah. What would possibly go wrong?
I
Yeah.
feel like that'd be interesting to see. I'm on board. Continue.
And then you get a taser for the other Pokemon.
This
Tase
is
some
just going down
Pokemon.
bad. Then you get trank
try to-
guns.
Whoa.
Yeah.
And for the real
Sounds like
stubborn
Monster
ones.
Hunter.
Huh?
Yeah.
I said it sounds like we're playing Monster Hunter now.
I know,
Oh,
right? That's
shoot.
what it sounds like. 'Cause,
Well, I mean, in the base game, you just beat up a Pokemon until like it almost faints. You
Yeah,
catch
that's
it.
true.
yeah, but we're supposed to be taking
No, not
pictures
until
of
it
it, not
almost faints.
capturing it.
But it's,
You're
on,
taking
on the brink of death.
You're taking the journalistic approach, John, not the
Oh, right.
not
right.
the
I'm a
like
journalist.
yeah. It's different. It hits different.
Anyway, this game's gonna have chill vibes.
So stoked.
yeah.
Gonna be definitely listening to some house music, some chill house music while I'm playing
Yeah.
it.
Tasing and taking pictures of Pikachu.
Oh yeah.
Pikachu. Like, okay, Pikachu. Oh, you could tase
Wouldn't a
Pikachu with a
taser just-
Pikachu.
But yeah, it wouldn't hurt Pikachu, would it?
Oh yeah, he
I
would
would
just
think that
absorb
it would
it.
charge it up.
It would just
Yeah.
blow
He would
him,
like
blow
it.
up the
Okay, sorry.
That-
Taste
That's
Charmander.
his fetish.
Try him to
Get a stronger Pikachu.
Charmander might like it too. Okay. So we're all stoked. We're all in agreement. Cool.
Oh yeah.
All right, now we're gonna move on to new things that we're just gonna talk about shortly, because they're kind of whatever.
They're funny.
Plex TV, is that what it is?
I think so. It's a like
I
TV
don't
/ show streaming service that takes in like other streaming services stuff. So like Crunchyroll and stuff.
confused.
I don't know. It's weird. Either way, they're not something you should be worried about or too concerned about.
Anyway.
Unless I don't know.
Yeah. Point is, they have a new service called Plex Arcade Classic, where you can pay a subscription to play Atari games.
$3 if you are already a Plex member, or $5 if you're not, and just Atari games, which
Wow.
you could go buy
Who
a
cares?
$20 game, but like you get the PlayStation Classics for $10. Get all the Atari games right there. They have all the Atari games probably on the most recent systems as well for the same amount of money, and you own them, or you can pay $3 or $5 a month to rent them for a game from over 20 to over 30 years. I don't know.
Wow, here's another element. They're not even like it's being like streamed to you through Parsec.
Oh wow.
What?
Are you guys
Uh,
are familiar with Parsec, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
we
yeah.
use it occasionally.
We're very intimate.
Oh yeah,
with
totally.
it.
We have it. Yeah. Yeah. So apparently, you have to, when you sign up for this, you like also have to sign up for a Parsec account and log into it through on Plex. And
I
it's
feel like,
like a
you've lost a
mess.
lot of people. Yeah, so you have to have 3 different things in order to sign up for this. That makes zero
Awkward.
sense. That's awkward as hell. Yeah, no. I found this one and I was like, this is really just clunky as hell. Just thinking that you have to pay money for classic arcade games, which a lot of them are either free, or there's a rip-off version of them that are free, or you can get them for super cheap and just own them and get a whole collection.
Yeah.
It's like, I can't imagine paying a
Right.
subscription and playing more than like a couple of hours of these games at a time, unless if you're like a Tetris fiend. But then just go get the most recent version of Tetris, and then you have every iteration of Tetris that has ever been in existence. There's no I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't
It's
get
weird
it.
like how, I mean, there's people that are high score fiends, but I mean, the gaming world has kind of evolved past that. I mean, there's a lot of games that still cater to those kind of people. That's one aspect of games.
I feel
now.
like if you're going to, because like there's so many places that sell, like at my store during the holidays, we sell a mini like arcade type thing that has preloaded
Mhm.
Atari games on it, and it's like $200, but it's like a miniature like stand up station with a joystick and buttons and stuff, and they sell full on ones that you can get now that are a little bit taller than that, and they're like still miniature, but they're half the size of a regular one. And it's like, you're better off investing in that rather than paying, what is that per year, like 40-50 a year for renting the games, which are even, it's just not there. And that's if you have the stupid Plex service in the first place. If you don't, then you're paying what, $70-$80? Like, I can't. I don't know.
Yeah, this comes across as just like, what do we have rights to that we can add and like
It's just
try
an
to
easy
leverage?
grab. And then
Yeah.
you're gonna have those parents that are oblivious and they're like, "Oh, we used to play these as kids, Timmy. Like, why don't we all play them together?" And they just
Timmy.
they get the streaming service, and then they're just like, "Screw it, we'll get this for little Timmy or just Johnny or Joe."
Wait, what?
Well, no,
So-
I think what they're really hoping is that like
And people
40-year-old something is like, oh, I remember this. I'm gonna get a subscription, and then they just
Back in
forget.
my
Forget about
day.
it. Ultimately, the goal for them
Yep.
is whoever gets this just forgets they have this subscription. They're like, "Oh, we'll
Yeah.
just try it for a month because that will be fun," and then they leave it. Because God knows,
Yeah.
I probably have subscriptions for stuff from 10 years ago that I forgot about, and I'm
Oh,
still
no.
paying for them. I have
Oh,
zero. Dude.
awkward.
But especially with something like this, how do you notice $3? You just don't. But yeah, I just wanted to
Okay.
point out how dumb it was.
Moving on to another streaming service
Whoa.
because everything's a streaming service
It has
nowadays.
to be.
That's the way.
No way.
Amazon Games, or Amazon now has a game streaming service called
Oh, wow.
Luna. It's in
It's-
what, closed beta right now?
It's
or
in
whatever?
closed beta, and I think it's $5.90 or it's $4.99 right now, and then they're gonna bump it to $14.99.
Oh, what it
Which I think it's cool. This is much better than Plex Arcade.
But I
but
mean, it's still just
The
like
pricing's questionable because Xbox already has them beat $5 cheaper for new games from a AAA studio, plus like other
Yeah.
studios, and then they have
Although
Stadia, which beats
with-
it too by $5.
well, the one thing to be said there is on Xbox with Game Pass, you have to actually have to download those games and be able to run them.
This is direct streaming,
Yeah, this is like streaming.
which
And the difference with Stadia is that with Stadia, you're paying. I actually don't really know all the details of the like pricing of Stadia because it's kind of a nightmare and confusing. But like, you have to also buy the games on Stadia.
So you're paying for the service. It's kind of like Xbox Live. You're
Yeah,
paying
where
for a
this
service to be
feels-
able to do something, then still have to buy stuff.
This feels more like a more conventional kind of
Streaming.
concept of like streaming.
Access to the library.
Which that's why I like the idea of it, but like looking more into it and seeing some of the stuff, it was saying like it drains your overall like bit rate for the month, like everything you can download. And then also like you have to have a certain speed of download for it, otherwise you'll have like obviously latency issues and crap like that. So it's like it ruins your experience if you don't have decent internet, which most people have okay internet, but I don't know. What was there was a specific number, but what were you guys saying for it? Let's see. So
I don't know, man.
Oh, I was just gonna
Oh,
say,
go ahead.
Popular Mechanics is where we're pulling the stats. It's
Yeah.
an article from Courtney Linder. It's actually just published today in the 26th, or well, yesterday.
when we're recording.
Yeah, when we were recording.
It's okay if people know that we record a day early.
No, it
Oh,
doesn't
no.
bother me. I was
God
It
forbid.
ruins their immersion.
I was just mentally like trying to figure it out. But like, so it's saying a lot of streaming services, or at least for Xfinity, it's like 1.2 terabytes. This is from Doug Perry on Twitter. So it's like, and then based off of those statistics, they're saying like an average streaming session is about 10 gigabytes per hour. So you're using quite a bit, especially if you decide, oh, I'm going to go on a binge and play Final Fantasy, like one of the Final Fantasies, which are 80-hour games. You're basically using all your internet in 1 month, depending on how throttly your internet provider is, in like a setting, probably like a week or less, depending on how dedicated you are to finishing that game. That to me is kind of like, wow. So not only am I going to throttle myself for the rest of the month, but I'm paying this subscription for it, and I've only been able to do one game. Whereas like That's how many gigs over that period of time. 80 hours, 10. That's 800 gigs that you're like absorbing, and the game itself is probably like 60. That's crazy to me. I mean,
Yeah, I think we're in like a state where
it
the
needs to be
world isn't
improved.
really ready for
Yeah.
these streaming services.
You need instant, like, straight to you internet.
Yeah, but give it a few years and we might have fixed those things by then.
Hopefully.
Before we move off of this, I just want to say some interesting things in terms of Luna is the fact that, of course, it is an Amazon product, which means that it can have Twitch integration and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And it's potentially interesting to see the type of Twitch integration that they can do of like doing things like drop in immediately into somebody's game that you're watching who's streaming, or if they're doing something like a challenge, you can immediately just like load up that challenge or that level or whatever and
I
play
do
it
like
yourself.
that stuff. I think that's really cool because then you're taking experiences that you're watching and turning it into something you can do. So that's very futuristic to me. Not to mention the fact that as like us, which are involved with YouTube and Twitch ourselves, I think it's cool that so many companies are starting to create like means for people to get content. Because like if you're a big YouTuber, of course you can just go buy AAA games and drop $60 like it's nothing. But think about that from a realistic standpoint for people that are doing this as a hobby, as part-time. That's an expensive hobby. So like Xbox has created a huge library for us to work off of. And it's fun. And it's like they add stuff constantly. This is just another means to do that if they get it down properly. And this will be even better because it's like we've noticed that the games that we download are bogging down the amount of space we have on our computers. So we're juggling the game downloads. This would eliminate that problem, but it has to first be fixed as far as the streaming. Yeah. So, and you have to have the internet to do it. So there's still bugs in it, but I feel like this is a really cool first step towards giving content. And even like for kids that have summer break, like you can just subscribe to this for 3 months, the parents can, and then when school starts you just drop it and then wait till winter break or whatever.
Ha, Timmy, no games for you anymore.
Yeah.
Get wrecked, scrub.
It's really cool. It definitely has a long way to go before it's usable.
All right, any other final statements?
It'd be interesting.
All right, we're gonna move on to our new game show within the show. Who
What
should I
is it?
hire?
Woo!
Oh,
What a twist.
So many people to hire from. What one is the job that's done? Choose only one, Joey does. So in the end, we all ask, who should I hire?
So we played this last week on the Forgotten Lost episode,
Wait,
Rip.
what is this?
but it's a new game. Here's the deal with it. I
Awkward pause.
have to hire somebody to do something
Uh-huh.
every week.
okay.
And I will come to the group with my dilemma and
Okay.
ask, who should I hire? This week,
Yes.
I was unloading some crafting supplies out of the back of my truck, and I dropped a can of paint and spilled all over
Uh-oh.
the driveway.
Oh no.
Now I got to
jeez.
clean my driveway. Who should I hire for that?
Oh. Huh.
Beep.
We got a
I'm
Garrett
gonna
has an answer.
go with the cleaning robot, Ollie, because he does work.
Wait,
I
who's
forgot
that?
his name.
What?
Can I look up his name?
Yeah,
from
look at
Wally.
his name.
Oh, it's Mo.
It's Mo. Yes, thank you, John.
Okay.
That's my
okay.
answer.
Mo.
He's really thorough.
So,
He's very
and
thorough.
you said you're going to use the paint afterwards, right? Let me just clarify.
No, this paint is gone. This
It's
paint
spoiled. You're not gonna pick
it's
it up
dried
off the
to
ground and it
concrete.
has like
Yeah.
gravel in there.
Well, no, but so like that's what I'm wondering. Is it something that you just dropped it and you're calling this person, or it's been there for weeks and then you're calling this person?
I dropped it and I was in the middle of something, so I was like, whatever, and it's now dried to the concrete.
Okay, so that changes
Buzz.
my answer. That's why I was wondering.
Buzz.
Still Mo.
I would call up Mario, but not for his plumbing skills,
flood.
but for his Flood backpack robot thing from Mario Sunshine.
Oh, his Mario Sunshine
yeah,
skills.
yeah.
Tempting.
He's gonna make it all moist and lift up all the dry paint off the floor because that's what he did
A
in the game,
device
right?
literally designed to clean paint off of concrete surfaces.
Uh huh.
That is true.
Oh, was it paint? I thought it was like goop or something. I don't
No,
remember.
it's
It was a long
paint.
time ago. Oh, it's
It was
paint. Oh, okay.
paint.
Because Shadow
Oh, it's
Mario has the
graffiti, wasn't it?
paintbrush.
Yeah. Okay, I remember now. Got it.
God, John, get your Super
Yeah.
Mario Sunshine lore together, dude.
It was a long time. Also, I never played it. I just played it at a friend's house once.
Damn it! I wish you had said wet paint because it makes it tougher for me.
What was your answer? It was wet paint. Is it just gonna be Kirby again?
No, it's gonna be SpongeBob.
He's gonna be the suck. Oh, okay.
Oh,
So, because then you could absorb the paint with SpongeBob, and then you can actually still reuse it and paint the room. Plus, it will have a cool
yeah,
sponge.
but then you gotta hang out
like,
with
with
SpongeBob.
with sponge like just sponge moisture in your paint. Now.
I know.
No, that would be really cool though. Like you'll have that
But-
spun texture on the wall, so it looks like clouds or whatever.
But SpongeBob is really good at making Krabby Patties, though. Relevant
Yeah,
to.
that's very true. He's more of an
cleaning.
expert of Krabby Patty flipping.
He's a sea
Patty
sponge, not a sponge.
Yeah,
Yeah, for some reason he looks like a sponge.
No,
though.
isn't he a
Yeah.
sponge sponge?
he's a
Isn't that the
sponge
whole like
sponge.
deal?
Well, his parents
Oh.
are a sea sponge.
Right,
Yeah.
Wait, hold on. How does that
Fine.
work? How does this?
but I'm pretty sure this has
Sea
been like a whole
sponge.
thing.
Oh my
Maybe
god!
back in the day, that's what we use. Our sea sponges as sponges.
Oh my God, is SpongeBob adopted?
Oh no!
Was he just a regular sponge who fell into the water
Don't
and then
tell
sunk
him.
to the bottom of the ocean?
God,
where
this got
his
really
sea
dark.
sponge parents?
Oh,
guy's super
no.
dark.
Sponge-
Let's
I
talk
hope-
about it. It's happy.
I hope
He was a lost
SpongeBob doesn't
sponge.
do Ancestry.com.
It's like he has little traces of kitchen sink in him and stuff like that.
Oh no!
Also, yes, you can buy natural sea sponges to use as sponges.
Interesting.
Oh, so
Wait.
okay.
So
But like SpongeBob is very clearly a square
A
yellow
square,
sponge.
like a manufactured sponge.
Yeah.
okay, so my
I
statement's
don't
still
know.
true.
Maybe he got eroded a little bit with like butting up against rocks when he was growing up or
Scraped in the-
something. And
Okay.
it's just perfect because there's rocks out there and stuff. Like there's natural things that are weirdly symmetrical. Maybe
Okay.
a sea sponge could be.
So that it's not wet paint though. So that
No, it's dried paint.
that doesn't even matter. So my actual then for the dry paint it would be Mr. Clean. Because he has that
Oh,
magic
wow.
sponge and he has the elbow grease of a god. Because have you seen those biceps?
Okay, well, if PJ changed his answer, then
I didn't change my
I
answer.
know. He
Joey
didn't change
asked
his
me.
answer.
Joey
Well,
asked me
no,
what
I
it was wet.
Hey, hold on. I was not informed. I made my choice assuming it was wet paint.
Oh, it's always assuming.
That's why you asked.
Guys, what is
Okay.
what is assuming?
That's usually because he said he dropped it, not a week later. Okay.
I didn't say a week
So-
later. I said long enough that it dried. That could be a day.
Okay.
Thin layer
So
paint on the
Depends-
concrete.
it depends on the
okay,
paint.
so a day later it's still dried. I'm gonna so dried paint will be my answer for that will be Blastoise.
What was your
Okay, that's a
initial
good
answer?
answer.
I was gonna go with Mo for wet paint.
Mo.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
because I was gonna say Mo. I don't know if Mo's really got the stuff.
Why don't
Yeah,
we give a
to
wet
use that
and dry,
dry
and the
paint.
combination of the two has to.
Oh my
No,
god.
because it's not.
Well,
It's
because
not
Garrett
the-
and I already
that's not
gave
the
a wet and dry.
question.
Okay, fine,
Well,
whatever.
if John needs to give an answer.
The question isn't
fine.
wet.
Okay, then dry it is. Whatever.
My answer works anyway.
It's true. It does.
That's true.
It does. Yeah.
Oh,
I
damn it.
was gonna go with Squirtle, but he didn't have the jet power. I chose Blastoise.
No,
because,
Blastoise is a better choice. It
Yeah,
can
'cause
really.
he can.
But
steam
Squirtle can
clean,
squirt.
he can clean
I
the
don't
hell
gotta
out
worry
of it.
about Blastoise. Is does Blastoise destroy my
Yeah,
driveway.
that cannon's used for like blasting like other
Yeah.
Pokemon to death.
Have you seen what it did to Team Rocket?
But it
No.
blasts them off.
It's
into
at least your
space.
driveway will be clean. Whether air
Like
is not
pressure
my
washing?
problem.
You mean that won't have concrete on it anymore?
Yeah.
Okay, PJ, what's your answer?
I gave my answer. Mr. Clean. Have you seen
Oh,
his
you're right.
elbow grease?
You're right. Yeah.
Hell,
the
that
real
elbow grease.
Clearly, that's how much of an impression it made on me.
I forgot
The
to
real
actually,
question
so
is,
don't vote for
guys-
me.
Man, Mr. Clean though, like
He has the magic eraser, man.
it's.
Have you
Is
used
it
those
magic,
magic eraser?
though? I've only
John,
ever
shut
seen him
up.
Clean. I've
They-
only ever
they
I'm
seen
not
like
him
talking about the
clean,
real
like,
magic eraser. I'm
bathrooms.
talking about the imaginary magic eraser on the commercials.
But the real
And, like-
question is, what is PJ's answer?
Oh,
Mr. Clean
All I'm
with his
saying is
magic.
I've seen Mr. Clean do things that I can do, and I don't think I can.
Not
get-
with his magic eraser. Have you seen what he does with his?
He's
I
pretty
can't.
buff.
I cannot do the
He's
shit
just-
that he does with his magic eraser in the commercials
It's just
in
fast
real life.
for the sake of like the commercial, but I think he's just using a sponge and wiping up stuff, man.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but he does it. He like okay. We're taking it in the context of the commercial, Joey. I'm not talking about like what I can with a real magic eraser. I can't even clean wine off of a counter or water off of a counter. But with his magic eraser in the commercials, he can take off rust from shit that's been sitting there for
Wait, okay.
hours. Or
Hold on,
years.
hold
Here's
on.
the thing, though. I have a
Wait.
whole driveway that needs to
Yeah,
be cleaned.
yeah, and
It's
we
gonna
counted
take
that.
him a lot longer,
Yeah, but
right?
it's Mr.
Like,
Clean.
like
Well, he
Depending on
wipes
how-
rust.
comes in
He
here
wipes rust
the
off of
flood
stuff that's been rusted for
and just
years, Joey.
yeah. Depending on
30
how
seconds,
how
Mario's out of here, right? Mr.
yes.
Clean, he's gonna be on my
he's
driveway
gonna
for
just
hours.
I'm not
Just-
gonna
I'm gonna have to
push
pay him an
away.
hourly wage for all those hours.
yes.
Yeah, but it
So
will
many
be a
hours.
good testament to the magic
Then
sponge
again,
for him.
I don't have to pay a Blastoise at all.
That's true.
Allegedly.
Wait, hold on. I got to counter to both of those. Okay, what if it's like you drop something from especially
not
liquid, it's gonna go,
arguing anymore.
it's gonna splatter upwards, right? You probably got paint on your roof too.
That's fine. Blastoise will take care of it.
How is
Oh, I don't
Blastoise?
know.
He's
You
like
can
he's like
blow
a
up your
what? A
house.
10 turtle. You just
I'll
get
put a
you get
valve.
Mario with it.
I'll
He
put
just
a
turn on
valve
to
on
his
his cannon.
you turn on his hover mode. He hovers up there with his little squirt gun and pew 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 pew.
I'm
I'll put a
Bada bing, bada
suppress.
boom.
I'm
Thing's gone.
forfeiting my answer. I'm out of this one.
I'll bring attachments so I can
You're
attach
gonna
a
just-
hose.
He's just gonna shove a lever in his asshole. Like what?
Blastoise, come on in.
What is Blastoise gonna do? Like climb on a little ladder up on your roof? and then,
No,
like,
that's
just-
what the attachment's for.
He's-
I'll help.
As he's getting up there.
You
Alright, well,
don't
the
just get
decision
was made.
Blastoise, you get the trainer too.
I'm gonna hire Mario,
Oh
Okay.
yeah.
and if somehow Mario doesn't come through,
I'm on board.
I
with that.
guess.
You'll get house
No, you know
insurance
what?
and then hire Blastoids.
A Mario is always
this is the thing.
satisfied.
It's like the runner up is even tougher. Because I'm like, Blastoise can destroy everything, but man, Mr.
Yeah.
Clean's just gonna take so long, and I'm gonna have to
Yeah.
pay him so
Mhm.
much.
He's just a normal person. That's
Have
kind
you
of
seen
not-
those
he's
muscles?
not even.
I'm
no,
gonna give,
look, I'm looking at a picture of
uh,
Mr. Clean. He's not even ripped. He's like just
I already
Not- he's-
forfeited,
he has
so it doesn't matter.
slightly toned.
Okay, well then the
Just give it to
2
Gabe.
points go to John, 1 point goes to Garrick.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
I didn't even know we were doing 2 and 1 points.
That's what we
like,
did
ah,
last
that's how
time.
we did
doing
last
our
time.
Never before.
How did we only have a title of
Last
3?
time.
Oh, wait. We only had a total of 3 points last time, but yet we were doing that, so we only did 1 question last time.
Yeah.
Oh, awkward.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, you didn't realize that's how this works?
Oh no, I
it's
didn't.
only one.
Oh, I
Yeah.
forfeited
Oh,
thinking there was
oh,
another
God.
one. Oh well.
No.
Don't Google Mr. Clean shirtless.
No.
See, that might
Ooh.
change
Oh,
Joey's
awkward.
his vote though.
Wait,
No, it
he
wouldn't.
doesn't have
No.
nipples?
He doesn't have nipples. It's horrifying.
Oh my god,
all the
it's
more
Jason
reason.
Bourne.
You won't get aroused by watching him clean your driveway.
What?
I
Why
mean,
wouldn't you want
might.
to get aroused while? Yeah.
Why would he need to be shirtless cleaning the driveway?
Because there's a lot of paint, Garrick.
Because it's provocative.
Anyhow, I lost.
All right, we're
I
gonna
won
move on.
last week. I lost this week, of course. Go ahead.
Well, there's still lots
Salty.
of weeks.
I
So
know.
we're going to move on to our
Oh,
last
wow.
couple bits here. A little smattering of Capcom goodness. Starting us off here, they had a Resident Evil. Well, it was kind of just like a Resident Evil in general showcase, but it primarily focused around Resident Evil Village, Resident Evil 8, or whatever you want to call it. They announced it's
Sure.
going to launch on May 7th, which is fun. It's pretty soon.
Nice.
And they had a trailer, showed some gameplay.
Very spooky.
Spooky.
They're still going with the same first-person format from 7.
I like it. I like it.
There's a lot of... It's very clear that there's like a lot of Resident Evil 4 inspiration in this game. And not even like just kind of subtly, like just overtly, in the sense of like there's like a merchant again. You remember like, what are you buying, stranger? Like that dude from Resident Evil 4. There's a dude who's like just that dude basically.
The super
they
heavy
kind of
set
alluded
guy?
to. Yeah, they kind
Yeah.
of alluded to might actually be the same guy, but like they were kind of their wording in their sentence. Like one sentence worded it like it was the same guy, but then the next sentence worded it like it's like a different guy, so I'm not really sure. Your inventory is like the briefcase, which is from like
I
Resident
thought
Evil
that
4.
was really awesome. The inventory system. It reminds me a lot of like Mega Man and stuff like that. The battle networks where you have to like
Yeah,
play Tetris
where
in
you're
order
like
to put things together.
Yeah, you're like slotting in your like what are they? They're like the
more games need that. That system is really cool because this is just not like, oh man, I'm just picking up endless shit. It's like you have to figure out how you're gonna fit everything in your bag.
Yeah.
Like it would be a normal situation.
and like they have that in the like Resident Evil 2 and Resident Evil 3, but it's like a much more limited system where it's more just kind of like you have slots in your inventory and things take up the slots and you're not really playing like inventory Tetris in the same way that you are in Resident Evil 4. So that's cool. Those are really cool like change from 7 and bringing that back. Obviously this is like a European setting and like castles and villages and stuff, which is very reminiscent of Resident Evil 4.
Yeah.
There's a bit where you're like fighting some zombie dudes and they have like a sword that looks like you can pick up, like there's a button prompt to pick it up, it looks like. So
Nice.
there might be some melee combat, which would be really cool. You run around with the sword, black people with the
I
sword.
feel like the zombies themselves were more eerie than the like supposed to be main boss villain characters.
Yeah. Well,
know
yeah, because I
why.
think and over the like actually in game. Did you play Resident Evil 7? Have you played any of the
I-
Resident Evils?
That's
have
the only
not,
one I
John
played. The
has.
7.
Okay, well like
At least follow through.
you have like the Baker family in 7
Yeah.
and like you're introduced to them at the beginning and like they're clearly all just like regular people. But over the course of the game, like as you take on all of them, spoiler alert, you fight them.
Oh, spoiler.
I know, right? Weird. The antagonists of the game you end up fighting.
Oh.
They like evolve, right? As the virus like takes over their body and they become more grotesque and monster-esque.
Yeah.
And I assume the same deal will probably happen here, either with like the virus stuff, or it looks like they're doing more of a
They're like witches.
conventional horror. Yeah, so like you have the witches and like the moth girls who can like, or flies or whatever the hell it is that they can just like corporealize as bugs. And you have like the really tall witch lady, and then you have the dude at the end with the hammer and like telekinesis powers who might turn into a big werewolf guy, because there's later a
Nice.
scene with a big werewolf who also has a giant hammer that looks
Interesting.
kind of like the same hammer. So who knows? But
Yeah.
you're kind of right, it is not as much of the like conventional zombie type of stuff.
No.
It's definitely like a different vibe.
I mean, even 7
um,
didn't have that. It had like the goop
yeah.
monsters.
That's the thing. I would actually say
Which-
that 7 Seven's general enemy pool is bad. I think
It's so boring. I got
the like
so tired of
molded
it.
dudes are boring
Yeah,
enemies.
they
They're
were
boring
really
to look at. They're boring to
Yeah.
fight,
Mhm.
right?
I think
And that game is really the strong parts of that game were the boss fights and
Yeah.
the exploration and puzzle solving.
yeah, I think I
and it-
played 5, and that was 100% action. It was
Yeah.
just like just fun, just arcadey more than anything. Than back, it's not what it used to be. What it used to be. For
Yeah.
I watched
I mean-
Game Grumps play through one of the Resident Evils. I don't remember which one, but it was when
That's probably one, I'm pretty sure.
I think so, and they actually like it was actual zombies, and it was like seeing that in comparison to now, it's just like it doesn't feel like Resident Evil anymore. It just feels like a whole different series that spawned from it.
Well, it still has the virus and stuff that they use to like infect people. That's what the powers and stuff
Right,
is
but
coming
then
from.
Yeah,
that's
it-
what become the focus rather than.
But no, that's the
zombies.
thing is that like as somebody who like from your perspective, your only like knowledge of the series is watching the first one be played on stream and then seeing like promotional materials. But like the
movies.
zombies are definitely the face of a lot of promotional material,
Yeah.
but like a lot of the enemies in the Resident Evil games are like mutated animals and like weird mutated monsters and stuff like that. Like
Yeah,
zombies are actually a relatively small portion of
I just
the
feel like there
enemy
was
pool
more of
in
them.
most games.
Well, no, because I watched them play. It was either 1 or 2. It was a series that they made on YouTube. I did play the demo for 5, and then I watched John play part of 7. So I have some like knowledge of it, but I just feel like zombies have slowly faded into being like non-existent in the series. Where I feel like right when the very if you watch the first gameplay again, it's just like zombies throughout, and now it's more like a mix, more heavily a puzzler, because there's a lot of rooms, at least in the gameplays that I've seen, where you just walk through and there's nothing, whereas every room before had at least 1 or 2 zombies in it that you had to figure out how to get past or kill.
I actually prefer the puzzling bits. Like in 7, there's like a Saw inspired like puzzle room,
Oh.
which I really enjoyed, even though I was really bad at it. So I hope they do like a bigger version of that.
I'm not discouraging it. I'm just saying that
Yeah.
the game itself has evolved or changed
Yeah.
to something
I mean,
different.
it's always been like a puzzler, right? I've
It
never played
has.
1 or
It
2,
has. But like what
yeah.
I said before is before every room, once you get to a certain point, has a zombie or 2 or more in it. They have to figure out how to get by or kill or whatever. Now it's like you don't have that as much, which
right.
that can be
Yeah,
considered good or bad depending on who you are.
I wonder if that
more of a
has more to do.
nuisance.
Well, no, I wonder if that has more to do with like the eras that the game came out and the format that they're in, right? Because it's like
Creates a challenge.
that like top-down third-person view is kind of inherently like not as scary because you have a big wide view of the area.
Yeah.
Give or take, depending on the camera angle, because it's all fixed camera angles. But like, so it's like they have to have zombies there everywhere to be like a threat so that you're scared constantly.
Yeah.
Like I'm moving around and I have to dodge zombies because they're gonna hit me. Whereas like the newer Resident Evils, particularly 7 and 8, because they're first person, they can
It keeps you
have
on your
less
toes.
enemies and you're more
Yeah.
scared because you
Yep.
don't have that peripheral vision, you don't have that wide view of everything around you, so you're just from a base level more vulnerable and therefore more scared and on
Yeah.
edge, so they don't
So
have
you
to
don't have.
I
throw things at you constantly.
That, and it's not as empty. Like I feel like there's emptiness and like walking into same thing. It has to do with the vision. Walking into an empty room where you see everything versus walking into an empty room where you're seeing what's directly in front of you. Because then you're investigating the environment based off of like I don't know what's where. It's the same thought process, but I just like minus the fear in it all. Exploring an empty room in first person is much more
Oh yeah.
involved.
You don't know what's behind you.
Well,
Yeah,
no,
exactly.
I'm taking out like even if it was like you knew there was nothing in the room that you're in other than maybe a puzzle, that's way more interesting in first person than in third person
Yeah.
in
I think
general.
like one of the best scares I had in 7 was just like walking up a ladder or the stairs. Yeah, so stairs, and just like the mother character just like popping out of nowhere, and I legit like jumped and screamed, had a mini heart attack. And I
Yeah,
don't
that's
think you
earlier
would
when
have
she
that.
like
Yeah.
the like trap door to the attic.
Yep.
She just
Yeah.
busts it open and grabs your arm.
Yeah. It's like you
Yeah.
cannot have that in a third person. Like that would not have the same effect.
No.
And they don't really do that, right? Like if you like look at, well, I don't know if you played Resident Evil 2, the remake, but like there's not very many jump scares,
Yeah.
particularly in any of the cutscenes, right? Like there's some jump scares in gameplay here and there, like environmental jump
Like a
scares.
zombie on the ground that you didn't see behind something. and
Yeah,
grabs at
that
you.
grabs your foot, or you are like walking. There's one early in the game where you're like walking down a hall and a body falls that's like hooked up to something, and it like falls down and is like hanging.
It's just
Or no, it's
different
hanging in, you hit it,
elements.
and then it falls down and it just makes a loud sound that scares you. But like, yeah, I don't know, that like kind of third person perspective, it's different. They're kind of just like, and it's interesting to see the Resident Evil series over time shift and like change and go like back and forth, like the ebb and flow of like starting out being really slow and puzzle based survival horror, and then becoming this like co-op action game, and then having like a hard left turn into first person horror. And it's weird.
Yeah.
It's cute.
But anyway, it looks pretty good. It
Yeah.
looks pretty.
I might watch
and-
John play it on Twitch if he ends up going that route.
Wow.
My biggest complaint about the at least 7 was that I don't know if I'm doing damage. Like they really need to like
Yeah.
show you that you're doing, because there's
Emphasize it.
such bullet sponges. Like even if
Mhm.
it's like you
Mhm.
see a bullet hole and then they want to be like, no, you're not doing damage. It just you see it like you repair itself or heal. Then you can be like, okay, I'm not shooting the right spots. Then you can like kind of
Yeah, then
test around.
it's just like there's just holes everywhere. They just look like
Yeah.
Swiss cheese.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because there's so many times when I shoot him, like, he's still up and walking towards me. What am I doing wrong?
I think that's like
Awkward.
particularly a problem with the molded, right?
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
they're getting away from in Resident Evil
Yeah.
Village, but it's like
Yeah. Well,
you
even
just
like
you give an actual humanoid opponent with like
yeah.
limbs and like a head, and like you can pop the head and be like, all right, it's dead,
Yeah.
right?
I mean, even the dad character, he's like pretty much invincible for most of the game. But it's like I got stuck in a part where apparently you're supposed to shoot out the axe from his hand,
Oh.
but it's like I'm not sure if you can just like did you have to do that, or can you just keep shooting him? Like it just takes more time, so it's like that stuff is confusing for me. Like I spent like like half a stream because I was trying to figure out how to beat the boss fight, not knowing if I was doing any damage on him. It was kind of frustrating.
I think that's just an inherent thing with games like that, though. I'm pretty sure, because I've played shooters that were like that too, and I'm like, man, I wish this was more transparent. Then I thought about
Yeah.
it. I'm like, it's a shooter. This is the only way to make it more difficult is to try to figure out what I'm supposed to be doing with it, rather than just like, oh, I just keep sinking bullets in. So I think you're stuck between it like being a puzzle and not knowing what to do, plus bullet sponge. So it
Yeah.
should be one or the
But it's like,
other.
I do wonder, like, could I have just kept shooting him in the head and keep getting ammo, and would that work too, or did I have to trigger that thing to happen?
I'd rather
for
have
the
it
game?
that way than
It's like it's
what 90% of Borderlands is, because I love Borderlands, but that game is literally just keep
Yeah, I hate
shooting
bullet
until
sponges.
it's dead.
yeah, that's annoying. But they'd be a little more transparent on that. Like okay, find a way to show the player that you have to take out that weapon before you could move on.
Either glowing
maybe they did.
instances or something like that for like
Which
lower
like
levels.
which some creatures have like a giant eye. The stereotypical boss giant eye you have to shoot at, which is very helpful. It's like okay,
or
shoot the giant
weakened
eye.
armor or whatever.
yeah.
Yeah.
But a lot of these characters in 7 didn't have that because they're just blobs or a human.
Or they should give a hint, like
Yeah, yeah.
prior. They give like they say something like, "Oh man, I used to be a runner until I took an arrow to the knee," and then it's like you got to shoot him in the knee.
Jeez, my knee hurts a lot.
Yeah.
Hopefully no one hits it.
So shit like that. I mean, they did
Yeah.
that with other games that I've played. It was almost that blatantly obvious. Like, oh, my head, it's splitting, and then so you have to shoot. Yeah, you have to shoot his helmet because it rings whenever he gets
Yeah.
shot. Like, it's not something when you're panicking. It's not something you're thinking about as much. But then it's like, oh, that clue is super obvious. Let me do that. So I don't know.
Yeah.
Still sounds cool.
All right, well, not too long to wait for that. Like what, 5 months?
May
Ooh,
7th,
Yeah.
4.
Yeah.
Just
Might have to
under
wait
4.
for Halloween for that next Halloween for the stream.
Yeah. Hopefully
All
bugs
right.
and everything will be fixed by then.
Well, we're gonna be closing out pretty soon,
Allegedly.
but before we do, I'm gonna give some quick Monster Hunter Rise demo
Wow.
Oh,
impressions.
snap.
Oh, whoa!
Woo!
I've never played
There's
it.
a demo for Monster Hunter Rise. You can go download it right now on the Switch. I think it's
Oh, I've heard.
available until like early February or something like that. You can play it multiplayer. It's got 2 quests to like hunt monsters. Kind of interesting because like normally the demos will have like a beginner quest, an intermediate quest, and like a hard quest. This one doesn't have a hard quest. It's just the beginner and the intermediate. But immediately the intermediate one is like a pretty difficult intermediate one. Like I would say more difficult than the intermediate one from like the Monster Hunter World demo. Yeah, those jump right into impressions. First
Nice.
thing, it runs pretty good, which is good and
Nice.
kind of surprising, right? Things on Switch don't always run that great.
Mhm.
And it maintains a pretty stable. It's running at 30, but you know it like maintains a pretty stable 30 consistently, which is something that even like Monster Hunter World on the base PS4 and Xbox can't do all that well. Monster Hunter World will dip into the sub 30s like pretty often, especially in really like densely like things packed with stuff,
That's
areas
rough.
packed with stuff, like
Especially for an
the ancient
action
forest.
reaction game. Like that's horrible. Like I
Yeah.
can imagine it
Well, I
fighting
don't
a
know. I have
creature.
500 hours on it, and
No,
it's fine.
yeah, but
So-
like that's you've adapted to the lag.
Yeah, I guess.
Or the latency. I can imagine someone like trying to counter. Like I'd get frustrated with that and be like, "Fuck this! I can't counter because the like right when it goes to swing, I drop down to 10 frames. Like, ugh, that's dumb." But I mean,
Well, and honestly, it doesn't happen during fights very often. And not to get into like a Monster Hunter World talk, but like Monster Hunter World gets hitchy when you're like running through dense environments. But generally, when you're like, because the fights take place in more wide open areas, the game runs generally fine when you're fighting things.
okay.
Anyway, I'm glad that the slinger is gone. Maybe you're unaware, the slinger was like a mechanic from World. Not specifically the slinger. The slinger's fine, but the clutch claw specifically, I don't like the clutch claw. I think it adds an element to gameplay that is like stupid. I don't want to constantly be having to latch on to the monster and hitting it to apply weak zones and stuff. I just think it's a bad gameplay element, and I'm glad it's gone. Wire bugs are cool. Wire bugs are like kind of the replacement for that now. So you can aim and use wire bugs to launch yourself into the air or like pull yourself forward. There's also wire bug moves, like specific wire bug moves on the weapons. And the demo doesn't have all of them because it looks like there's more in the in trailers, like more moves in trailers that aren't in the demo. So I'm interested to see how that ends up working out. Like if different weapons in the same weapon class have different wire bug moves, or if you can decide what your wire bug moves are, like what the deal with that is. But wire bugs are cool.
Nice.
Monster hitboxes are kind of eh. I definitely have been hit by some stuff, and I mean this is like Monster Hunter. Like every game people will talk about like hitboxes, and some of them are good. But Some of them just seem real bad. Like sometimes I feel like I'm hitting things that I am hitting the monster when I shouldn't hit the monster, where it
I
feels
can't
like
see
there's like a
that.
1 foot gap between
Yeah.
the weapon and the monster. And same thing the other direction, where it feels like I get tagged by the monster when I'm like a foot away from whatever hit me.
That's
Um,
shitty.
Yeah, and Monster Hunter's always kind of had these problems because, like you said, it's like an action-oriented game. It's really like based around reactions and dodging and stuff like that. So, you expect you like learn the monsters and kind of figure out like what their jam is over time. But at first, it can be real annoying to encounter a hitbox like that and just be like, oh wow. But again, it goes both ways. So those big hitboxes mean that I'm landing things that I probably shouldn't be landing,
Right.
because its hitbox feels bigger than it should be.
It makes you appreciate when a game has really good hitboxes, though. Like, I will say, I know we've talked about it in previous podcasts, but
no.
Phantasy Star Universe,
Oh,
me
no.
and Joey played excessive amounts of it for a game from 2000 and what was it, 4 or 5, whatever it was. Those hitboxes. I mean, they got around
If
it
the
weird.
server wasn't lagging, they were
They were good, but I was gonna say like they were really good, but they also did a smart thing to counteract the problem by making it so hitboxes were on particular portions of the body, so other portions of the body didn't really count. That way they didn't have to like render the whole entire thing as a hitbox. So it's an old school method, but it worked for the time. But like there's more recent examples, I think, that do a good job of making sure that the monsters render properly and hit things right. Because I can tell you right now, there's been plenty of games where I played and I got hit by like a Spectre hitbox, and you're like, what the fuck? Like, this thing wasn't even close to me. It was 10 feet away, and I got hit. You're like, why?
Yeah.
So,
The one that drives me the craziest is when you're like behind a monster and they do like a belly flop like push off in front of you, and somehow that hits you.
It's the shockwave, Joey. The shockwave.
Yeah.
It's
Anyway,
a monster ability.
and that's not even a hitbox issue as much of it is just like the game
It's
deciding
mechanic.
that like you're within the hit zone, I guess.
Yeah.
And regardless of whether or not the motion makes sense to do any damage to you, you're in the hit zone, so it's going to hit you.
yeah. No,
World design.
I always
I think
find
world
that
design's kinda weak.
shockwaves and like
It's not a shockwave. It's hitboxes. It's
Giant.
there
fat
is no
box.
shockwave thing. It's
Okay.
actually that the like you're
See,
inside its hitbox when it's doing the belly slam, and even though technically it's like pushing away from you, and it's gonna count as it doing a full impact.
Yeah, I mean,
you're,
developers,
like,
you
in
could
the
just
hitbox.
hide that problem with a giant shockwave particle effect. Bada
Yeah.
bing, bada boom, fixed.
I was about to say
Yeah.
shockwaves always seem to be the buggiest thing, but like there's leeway. Like, oh, I got hit by the edge of the shockwave or something like that. So like,
Okay, I'm
there's
trying to
much
get through
more
this.
leeway. Go ahead.
Okay. World design. I think world design's weak, very weak compared to
Oh.
Monster Hunter World, and it's kind of to be expected because it's on the Switch, so they can't
Awkward.
do as much and put as much fidelity in. But yeah, areas just feel bare. The endemic life has kind of just been relegated to being like buffs on the map that you run up and pick up. They don't feel as much like organic creatures living in a world. It feels a lot more gamified. So that's kind of a bummer. I really like the immersion of Monster Hunter World and how like detailed and fantastic those maps and environments are. And the environments, the one environment that you get to play on in the demo just feels pretty barren and kind of boring aesthetically. Doesn't have a whole lot going on. It has some cool things. There's some cool ruins and stuff, but in terms of like actual like, you know, density of like foliage and visual fidelity and stuff like that, it leaves a lot more to be desired. But on the flip side of that, weapon design and armor design is a lot better from World, or at least on the surface, it looks like that so far. Monster Hunter World has a lot of really basic weapon designs and armor designs, particularly weapon designs. And I kind of understand it's because it's their first like jump into a big, 1080p high def Monster Hunter. But the weapon designs and the armor designs in Rise look to be a lot better, just more interesting and more fantastical and stuff like that. And then of course, like all the Monster Hunter games, it has really good music. One of the
Nice.
monsters, Mitsuzune, which isn't in Monster Hunter World, and is coming back to the series in this one, has a new theme, a remix of its theme that's really, really good. And yeah, mentioning Mitsuzune, it's a monster that has a particular monster skeleton that was not in Monster Hunter World. And the way the Monster Hunter games work is basically like if a monster's skeleton is in, or if like a specific skeleton type is in the game, then you can expect that there's going to be other monsters of that skeleton type. Does that make sense? Because there's like all the monsters have like a different kind of like base skeleton shape in a lot of ways,
Okay.
right? Where it's like a dragon is like a dragon and they stand like a dragon, right?
Okay, so it's like a classification kind of thing.
Yeah, right.
Okay.
Whereas like Karen is a horse, right? A horse's skeleton
Yeah.
is like way different than a dragon skeleton. And even the different dragon skeletons are kind of different. You got a T-Rex who's like that's like
Ooh.
a dinosaur. That's not like a dragon. And yeah, Mitsuzune is it's considered a Leviathan skeleton monster, whatever subspecies or species. I don't know the exact like term that they use for it, but basically it means that there's probably going to be a lot of other Leviathan monsters that were not in Monster Hunter World that will be in
Oof.
Rise. So that's fun because it's a lot of people's fan favorites,
Nice.
or a lot of people's fan
Okay.
favorites are in those categories. So people will be glad to see him back, like Ligaya Chris, for instance. So overall, I'm jazzed for it. Right now it's only announced for the Switch, but I suppose it's possible it comes to the PC later. Of course,
More
World came to the
better?
PC at some
Oh.
point, so and I don't see why Capcom wouldn't want to just make more money. So
Yeah. How many
Anyway, yeah.
monsters did you kill in poor monsters did you kill in Cold Blood? Of course, of this demo.
in the demo, well, I killed the same monster a lot.
You monster. You
Killed
monster.
Oh, no.
Rathian a lot. I killed Mitsuzune a lot.
Poor monsters. They're just like chilling out, minding their own business, and then
No, they're monsters.
I don't know. I think you're the monster in this situation.
Yeah.
Maybe that's what
They're the
monsters
bastards.
are the human. The humans are the monsters.
That's the
Exactly. That's the
secret.
message.
I've never.
All right,
played
we're gonna
Monster
close
Hunter
out
game.
here, John. What do you got going on over on Twitch?
All dudes, check out the Twitch at cameraman John /Twitch. Well, it's backwards. Do it the other way around. Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays we do some fun variety gaming. 6:30 Pacific time. Man, I'm just like going out of order like crazy.
Yep.
Word.
Yeah, check it out. Sometimes we're doing some grounded on Wednesday.
Yep.
Yay. Today.
Oh,
Tonight.
yes.
Be there or be square.
What's going on over on YouTube?
The huge. We got Garrick's dub went up on Sunday. We'll have another one this
Oh, yeah.
coming Sunday with a guest surprise, big Twitch streamer. He just started up
Oh, yeah.
recently, so keep an eye out for that. I don't think we have his voice, but he is there, so don't worry about that.
We do.
We do have his
'cause
voice.
It was in game.
Oh, good. Okay, so we do have his voice.
Oh, good.
So keep an eye out for that, and make sure you show him some love and check out his Twitch stream once we reveal it. We'll have it in the description, right, Garrick?
Indeed.
Cool. And then we have Shady Part of Me, my solo chill playthrough. It went up Monday. We have the podcast today, and tomorrow our Thursday will be me and John's playthrough of Bugsnax. Wait,
Yeah, I can't wait.
Was I wrong?
No, you're right. Let me just change that scheduling right now. Perfect. Thank you.
Awkward. Okay. Yeah, that's it for this week. Pretty much same schedule for the next couple weeks until I beat Shady Part of Me and John and I beat Bugsnax.
Wow.
Joey, you said you want to start Pokemon soon,
Baby
so
Bugsnax.
that will be soon as well.
Bugsnax, baby.
But yeah,
Pokemon.
that's it.
Thanks
Break.
everybody for listening to the podcast, and we will catch you next time.